noen are two words that I hear people confound all the time. So I have made this video for you to make it easier for you to know which one to choose, but also what does it actually mean. Because noe and noen can mean many different things, right? It can mean some, any, something, and somebody. So to make it easier for you, I have created the perfect formula. Wait for it. Ta-da! I'm gonna go through it with you step by step, don't worry. The first thing we're gonna do is figure out which one to choose, noe or noen. And then we're gonna look at different examples, different kinds of sentences, so that you know what they actually mean or what they can mean. Okay? But let's look at the form first. Which form or which shape should I choose? Should I choose noe or noen? I really suggest that you get a pen and a paper, maybe different colors, to help you with this. And also leave some space on the side to add some examples afterwards. Okay? That's really, really helpful for you to memorize it afterwards. Okay, so let's get started. Are you ready? Okay, so there are 3 questions you should ask yourself when you should choose noe or noen. And you should ask them in this specific order. Okay? So the first question to ask yourself is, am I describing flertall? So plural. Am I describing a plural noun? Okay, for instance, books. Am I describing a plural noun? If the answer is yes, so the positive side here, then you should always choose noen. No matter what, no matter the gender, no matter what. It's always noen. Okay? So if I want to say, for instance, I have some books, I would say, jeg har noen bøker. Okay? If I'm not describing a plural noun, so if it's singular, then I should continue the row down here because it can be either noe or noen. Okay? The next question to ask is it utellelig? Utellelig. Telle means to count. So is it uncountable? If the answer is yes, it is not something that I can count, which means that I will always use the singular form, right? For instance, when I talk about food, in Norwegian you don't count food. You don't say 1 food, 2 foods, 3 foods. That doesn't work, because food can be found in so many quantities, so many sizes. It doesn't have a specific shape like a cup would have, for instance. So it can be much or little. So there are other ways to let's say that to be able to count it, you have to specify, for instance, how much it is, or if it's a meal, for instance, then you could count it. You could say 1 meal or 1 kilo of food, 1 plate of food, but not food by itself. So that's an example of something that's not countable. Another example is snow or rain. You don't say 2 rains or 5 snows, right? Therefore, we have to use noe. For all uncountable words, we use noe. So noe mat, or noe snø, noe regn, Don't have to worry about the gender. Doesn't matter if it's masculine or feminine or neuter. If it's uncountable, you use noe. Okay, so noe, singular, uncountable. Okay, are you following? But if it is countable, and it is not plural, so it's singular, it's countable and it's singular, then we continue down this road. And you can ask yourself, does it have a gender? Kjenn. Which means, is it masculine or feminine? If it's masculine or feminine, you use noen. And if it's not, if it does not have a gender, if it's neuter, then you use noe. For instance, I could say, har du noen bok? Do you have any book? Har du noe hus? Do you have any house? And you might have noticed that now I said any. I didn't translate it with some. Okay? And that's quite particular because now we're going to the part where I explain which meanings these words can have. And that depends on which of the categories they belong to, but also what kind of sentence we're talking about, and if the word stands by itself or not. Okay? So just follow me now. So let's start with the basic sentence. We have an affirmative sentence, which means it's not a question. It's not an order. Okay, it's just an affirmative sentence. Then, for these two, I can use noe or noen. It does not work with number 3. And I'm going to explain to you why. So let's start with the first one. An example would be, det noen biler ute. There are some cars outside. So the basic meaning would be some. Okay, and an affirmative sentence would be some. So that works, friends. Har du noe mat? Do you have any food? Har du noen bil? Do you have any car? Har du noe hus? Do you have any house? That works. Let's try with ikke. Jeg har ikke noen venner. I don't have any friends. You probably also know that you can say ingen. Jeg har ingen venner. That's the same thing. Jeg har ikke noe mat. I don't have any food. Okay. Jeg har ikke noen bil. I don't have any car. Jeg har ikke noe hus. I don't have any house. Poor me, I don't have anything. So that works. So when I negate or when I ask a question, it means any, and I can use all the 3 categories. Okay? Next meaning noe and noen can have is when you use it by itself without having any referent, which means that I cannot add any word after it. Okay? Because I could, in the context, instead of saying jeg har ikke noen venner, I don't have any friends, I could just say jeg har ikke noen, and then in the context you might understand that I'm referring to friends, because that's what we're talking about. But sometimes it has its own meaning, and you don't refer to anything specific. And that's when it can mean something or someone. Okay? When noe and noen does not refer to anything, then these categories, you don't really need them. I'm gonna put them down. To say somebody or someone, you have noen. And then to say something, it's noe. For instance, jeg kjenner noen. I know someone, I know somebody. Jeg vet noe. I know something. Vet is for information. Jeg vet noe, I have some information. I know something. If I add ikke to that, jeg kjenner ikke noen, I don't know someone, or I don't know anybody. Jeg vet ikke noe, I don't know anything. I don't know something, literally, I don't know something. When you use ikke, there's also another way with one word that you can use instead. Instead of ikke noen, I can say ingen, which means nobody or none. And then for ikke noe, I can say ingenting, nothing. So that's another option. But it's safer to use ikke noen and ikke noe, because in some sentences you're not allowed to use ingen and ingenting. I'm gonna make a video about that later, okay? So, I'm gonna make a couple of sentences in the description below in Norwegian, and I would like you to tell me what they mean in English. So what the word noe or noen means in that specific sentence. And then I would like you to tell me why. Why do I have to use noe or noen and not the other one? Okay? So I will check your comments below and see how that went. And also feel free if you have any questions, if you find any examples where you find noe or noen and you don't really know what it means. And also, one more thing. Actually, Norwegians sometimes, they don't use it right. Sometimes they actually use ikke noe. You know, the noe, this one right here, the uncountable noe, in front of things that can be counted, together with ikke, so ikke noe. For instance, an example could be, jeg har ikke noe bil, but bil, car, is countable, right? And it's masculine, it's not neuter, so there's no logic to use noe. So actually sometimes Norwegians, they also make mistakes. So anyway, go into a newspaper or whatever, a book, and try to find some noe and noen, and then try to understand why did they use this one and not the other one. Okay? If you find some examples you don't understand, please tell me in the comment field below and I will try to explain to you. Okay? I hope you like this video. If you did, please like it and share, and I will see you around very soon. Ha det bra!